Scott Hobbs here, your unofficial digital mayor, and I'm out with the real mayor of Bridgewater, Mayor Matt Moench. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Scott.
Good. We're here. Everybody's been talking about the road that's been cut through here.
Yeah.
I was thinking like a little road like we're here on
Yeah.
Miller Lane.
Right.
What happened?
You know, it's amazing. It's Tuesday, it's all trees.
Right.
Wednesday, if you've seen some of the videos, it was devastation here. I mean, just this was all, you know, it's all trees behind us. Estimates are between 300 and 500 trees cut down, and they're still working. We think they're done cutting trees, but we're not sure. We've gone to court this morning to make sure that there's no more trees cut before we understand what's occurred. And as you know, this is a county park project, so it's in Bridgewater, but it doesn't go through the normal process like a developer would.
Right.
You want to cut down trees in your house.
I needed well, and I cut trees down when we lived off Meadow Road. I had to get a permit to cut trees down.
That's exactly right. And so, you know, if for residents who are following the various rules, you got to get permits. You have to get an arborist to come in. You got to look at all that. Here, none of that occurred with Somerset County. As a general matter, we don't regulate. Governments don't regulate the governments above them, which is why they don't have to come in front of a planning board. But in this instance, there's a couple differences than what you normally see. One of which is that tree ordinance that we talked about. That's required by the DEP. It's mandated on every municipality to have a tree removal plan, specifically for stormwater management. And that means that if you go to cut down a tree, that you have to, assess what trees are being cut down and the impact on them, and make sure that you have a plan to mitigate it. And that didn't occur here, at least as to Bridgewater. And so now our biggest concern is you're certainly very familiar with this area, but as you can see, this slopes and it continues to just go down.
Well, I was going to ask you that because this is going to go. We had the flooding down on 22 with Ida and how bad it was.
That's right.
And everything runs off of this mountain.
That's exactly
because I used to patrol up here.
I was going to say, you know it.
Because I patrolled up there.
That's it.
And it's like, where's that water going to go? But this was at least stopping some of it.
And that's the biggest concern. Yes, we can talk about the nature impact of the trees. We can talk about the historic impact of this area. But the biggest concern is that this looks to me like a runway for water that's going to come flying down and add to what was already there in terms of problems with water flowing down the mountain. There's all kinds of studies that talk about how much water trees absorb. And what makes it more jarring to me and to a lot of residents who are familiar with the park is that there is a road here. So it's not that we had a piece of property that we had to figure out how do we let residents use it.
Because it's a beautiful park down there.
Gorgeous park. And nobody can understand what the need for this road was. Why we couldn't continue to use Miller Lane. I've heard talk about, well, it's a private road. The front part of it may be private, but it's been used for decades, if not centuries, in terms of previous forms.
I've been an officer, I was an officer 25 years, and we're back. But
so
and even when you look at the road here, Miller Lane, and you look at the width of Miller Lane, and you look at the width of this, it doesn't.
Scott, you look like you could land an airplane on this road. You could have a Cessna come in here and land into this park. That's not the kind of park this is.
No.
And quite frankly, if they think they're going to be, increasing the use of this park, where you're going to have so many residents, you need a 4-lane road coming in. That's also a separate concern, which is that's going to take a park which is pretty heavily used, but is still quiet. You can come here, you can hike, you can ride a bike, you can enjoy. So I don't know what the future plans are. If this is just a precursor for a significant expansion of park facilities here, and that's what we're not seeing, is that it's now they're going to build a building, they're going to build other stuff, and this is just phase 1. Or if it's really about access, and if that's the case, it makes no sense because we have the road here. And if they needed to widen the road a little bit somewhere, if they needed to fix, there's some turns in this road.
Well, I thought there was going to be, there's the little access bit back there. I thought that's where this was at. And then I saw this coming up Gloucester, and I'm like, whoa. So
I don't get it. And it's unfortunate because no matter what we do, you can never replace now what has been
removed.
They could put more trees up. Even if you could stop the project and say we're going to reseed this area, It's not going to be reseeded with the trees that you see around us.
No.
It's going to take 100 years for that to happen.
And even with the water coming this way, you're still got a slope going down that way.
So
you got
right at the Vassar Avenue down there.
Right at the turn.
And as a as a former police officer, I would imagine if you were to walk here and look at what it's going to be like trying to make a turn on Vassar Avenue to come out of this road, where it's down the mountain, down the curve, from a traffic safety standpoint, there's a huge concern.
Yeah.
So I can't figure out what the need was, why we're doing it, and what's really shocking at this point too is that Jefferson County, as far as I've seen, has not said anything about this project.
We've seen a lot of stuff on the Bridgewater pages and everything, and
no explanation, no reassurances, no no answers to our residents who say, we're really concerned about this. What are you going to do?
Right.
And our hope at this point is we don't have the power, without the help of the courts, to get those answers. And so we're hoping at a minimum that with our court actions that we can have a judge to make sure that there is a stormwater management plan, that if we need to make improvements down the mountain to address the runoff, if they need to make improvements to what they're doing here, if they need to make the project smaller, make it a smaller road, plant more trees, do all the things that every other resident or developer has to do.
Right.
Because those are the things that they're there to protect our residents.
Right.
It's not a, it's not a land use issue where we're saying we don't want you to build a house. We can't control that.
Right.
They can do that here, but those trees, this amount of trees is it's criminal.
Right.
It's horrible.
And it's bad. So.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Well, thanks for taking a couple minutes for me.
I appreciate it.
And what I'd like to do is one day sit down and we'll talk. Sit down. I'll do my 5 questions because I do the top 5 things. So I always 5 questions.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I make sure I follow your page.
pages.
I will do that.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.